It's June 16th, and The Flash is officially in theaters. And with it, the return of the version of Batman from Batman the Movie, as played by Michael Keaton. And to celebrate his return, I will be giving you my top 5 list of burtonverse theories from Reddit.
Basically, there are the Burton films and the Schumacher films, and they are no more in the same universe than are The Dark Knight or the other Nolan films. First, look at Gotham, literally the world in the film. Burton's cold, dark, dirty, understated Gotham, with its sharp and imposing architecture and extreme lack of color, could not be more different from the constantly flashing rainbow lights. Schumacher's bright, clean Gotham. The difference of the Batmobiles is also night and day. Two of the main characters are recast. Bruce, who was played by Michael Keaton and now played by Val Kilmer, and Harvey Dent, now played by Tommy Lee Jones rather than Billy D. Williams, actually changing race. Other minor characters such as the mayor are also played by different actors. The other major characters are all original to this film, except, as far as I can tell, too, Michael Gough as Alfred and Pat Tingle as Commissioner Gordon. But this alone is not enough to make it the same universe. Actors have been known to reprise roles in different versions of the same mythos. There are also no references to any events or characters from the Burton films, with one possible exception. The central issue then would be Bruce's backstory. As we would expect of a rebooted Batman, there are scenes, albeit brief ones, of Thomas and Martha's murder, because Schumacher actually wanted to do Batman Year One. There is also a brief shot of their murderer, and while it is similar to the shot from Batman, the actor is credited only as shooter. It is also implied that Bruce performed some act of vengeance, presumably against his parents' murder. So, could the shooter have been Jack Napier? Of course he could. But the fact that a guy in a dark alley shot Bruce's parents isn't enough to link any two Batman stories. They all have that. The guy in Forever could easily be Joe Chill. The only evidence we have that it's Napier, which I'd argue would be the only thing left that could make it a sequel, is that Batman is implied to have enacted vengeance against him, based on what he says to Dick. This would be a deviation from the comics, shared chiefly by Burton's films, where Batman straight up kills the Joker. But Batman has been shown to seek out vengeance against Chill in a number of Batman stories, going so far as to put a gun to his head, and though he has never directly killed him, his actions have led to Chill's death. Chill even comments that Batman got his revenge. So this link to is tenuous at best, so we have nothing concrete to link Burton's universe to Schumacher's, and we have a great shield to separate them. Batman Forever is a reboot, not a sequel. Might sound batshit crazy, but I believe that there was a second Joker in the burtonverse. So let me explain this crazy and probably not true theory. The main piece of evidence for the theory comes from Crisis on Infinite Earth. In the first part of the crossover, Alexander Knox cameos. For the couples of seconds he's on screen, we see he's reading a newspaper that reads, Batman captures Joker. Now this doesn't work, since the Joker died in Batman 89. But I've decided to overthink it and ask a question no one else ever has. What if the burtonverse had the second Joker? Now there is more evidence for this theory than just the newspaper, and that's the Birds of Prey television series from 2002. This mostly forgotten series features a flashback scene with two actors wearing the Michael Keaton Batman suit and a slightly different version of the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman suit. If that wasn't enough to suggest it's a spin-off of the burtonverse, the show was literally advertised with footage for Batman Returns, and the exterior shots of Arkham are from Batman Forever. Now the reason I'm bringing Birds of Prey into all is because in another flashback scene from that show we see Barbara Gordon get shot by the Joker, paralyzing her from the waist down. If this show is meant to be canon to Batman 89, then how is Joker alive? Well, I think the answer is simple. There was a second Joker in the burtonverse, a Joker that Batman would capture in 2019. We know that in the burtonverse, Joker had his fans, as in the upcoming Batman 89 comic, a version of the Joker's gang will appear, so it's not that fetched to assume that someone would try to completely take up the mantle of the Joker. The Joker that would end up paralyzing Barbara Gordon. An alternate ending to Stanley Kubrick's Shining went along to something like this. Wendy would wake up at the hospital, and Omen would come see her and tell her that Jack's body wasn't found anywhere. In this theory, Jack managed to escape the hedge maze and traveled out until he eventually collapsed, where rescue workers found him. They brought him to a recovery center, where he eventually woke up. However, due to the injuries he suffered, Jack only had very vague memories of what had transpired in the hotel in his life, but still had the insanity from the hotel, only he was now more lucid and therefore it was less violent and obvious. Jack quietly killed a worker there, taking his uniform and car to leave the area. With nowhere to go, Jack decided to follow his instincts and went back to his home, Gotham City. He could vaguely recall that he had left when he was in his 20s because he had done something really big and bad, and he could just get caught. This explains partially why the Joker doesn't fully get who Batman is in the cathedral. Not only has he murdered a bunch of parents, he literally can't remember Bruce's. When he got there, Jack gave his name as Jack Napier, remembering that as his original name that he changed to Torrance to get away from Gotham originally. He eventually worked his way up to being Carl Grissom's #1 guy, because he subconsciously associated Grissom with the hotel manager, and started an affair with Alicia, because she was the exact opposite of his wife, blonde, sexy and confident. Jack expected Grissom to eventually put him in charge, because he remembered the hotel, who he's projecting onto Grissom, promising him great opportunity. When the chemical accident happens, Jack survives because of the hotel's residue supernaturality with him, but is physically changed to the Joker. When he snaps, he reverts back to his post-breakdown hotel psychopathy, but now focuses on the clown motif. Parasite Tigondia can reproduce asexually in many mammals, but reproduces sexually in cats due to a difference in their stomachs. This parasite, which is in 50% of humans, has been linked to changes in behavior in its hosts. Mice with Tigondia have been found to be less afraid of cats. So basically this parasite is making its hosts dumber toward the fear of cats, because cats are its true home. Some studies have shown the link between schizophrenia and bipolar disorder in people with parasites. It has also been linked with increased testosterone and higher tendency to rebel in men and lower testosterone and outgoing, moralistic tendencies in women. Higher rates of car crashes and suicide attempts have been linked to Tigondia. It can also cause serious eye damage. It should be noted that many of these links do not have sufficient proof to be regarded as fact. I found out about this parasite in a clickbait article theorizing that people with Tigondia are viewed as more attractive, though there isn't substantial evidence or known causality. All the other info is from Wikipedia. Now to the movie. Selena Kyle becomes Catwoman when she is pushed out of a window and revived by cats that lick and bite her. We can see a cat chewing her finger bloody, so there is clear bodily fluid connection. Tigondia is spread from cat feces, and we all know cats lick their privates. So it's not too much of a stretch to believe that she is receiving the parasite at high doses. But she also just fell many floors from a building and should be dead. My theory is that the cats are purposefully passing immense amounts of Tigondia into her nearly dead body before the brain is lost. The parasite takes a lot of control over her, but it uses her in a way that keeps her feeling like she's in control, an exaggerated version of the mice who are less afraid of cats. She shows signs of bipolar disorder, going from zombie-like to manic. She is reckless and fearless, blowing up buildings and facing all kinds of threats. And she's sexy, with everyone gawking at and commenting about her after her rebirth. All of these traits align with ideas about Tigondia and humans. Why did the cats choose her? Selena Kyle was a smart human who had an affinity for cats. The parasite was evolving to be more powerful and the great breeding ground of Gotham City, and when the cats found the body, Tigondia urged them to make her a super weapon, not with any specific cause in mind other than to be a muscle. It's worth noting that some penguins have also been found to have higher amounts of Tigondia, and it spreads through sewers. This can explain why the penguins are so actively intelligent in the movie. They are being manipulated by a super powerful strain of Tigondia. TL Doctor, a real parasite called Tigondia, manipulates hosts of many species to aid cats. It has been linked to some behavioral changes in people, many of which align with Catwoman's changes after being revived by cats. She is a walking muscle for Tigondia, as are the penguins. Fan of the original two films will know what I'm trying to say here. Gotham City in Batman and Batman Returns was a character all its own. It had an amalgamation of timelines in terms of style and architecture. People dressed like the 50s, and the idea was a city from an alternate reality where the zoning commission took a different direction. That hell itself was heaving from the ground or something like that. The reality we see very traveled looks far too normal. It's so bright and happy. Except, of course, for Wayne Manor itself. Perhaps they will explain the lack of need for Batman after he accomplished his mission and the dark and mysterious Gothic look was made obsolete. Or the theory could be that this is not exactly the same universe from those films. Let's face it, it's probably just a story or directing decision. But man, this movie's going to be a banger.